Okay, folks, I'm about ready to go ahead and take us on a little ride here. I kind of want to show you a little space that I like to go to every once in a while, especially when it's beautiful out. It's late in April, but it's just starting to get warm enough to go there, and that is Mentor Lagoons Beach. Mentor Lagoons is really kind of cool just because it's completely virgin beach. 2 miles, so basically from as far as the eye can see, left and right. It's not groomed, it's natural. So it's got some stones, and it's got washed up wood and all that. But it's also got all the nature you want to see. You can see a bald eagle every now and then, lots of buzzards, seagulls if they're back. You might even see a coyote, you never know. But one of the great things is living in the headlands is we're only about a mile away from the rear entrance to the place. If it's one of those places you want to just go ahead and get into a parking lot and you're right at a beach, this ain't it. But if you're willing to go ahead and walk a little bit, you get to enjoy one of the most secluded beaches you're probably ever going to find in Ohio, especially considering how many people live in the area. Mentor Headlands Beach is to the east. That's the state park that everybody knows. That's your standard everyday beach with 500 yards of groomed sand, deep, by about half a mile wide. And it's really awesome and everything, except for the fact that since it's a state park and everybody and their uncle knows about it, it's really easy to go there and find that you are all alone with 10,000 people. And you literally have to go ahead and share the place with your neighbor is maybe 1 yard apart. So anyway, it's a nice little place. We like to go ahead and disappear. And it's a nice little comfortable bike ride. I know that this is one of the places I'm going to miss quite a bit when we move. It was one of the selling points for living in this area, because the Headlands isn't exactly what you would call high end, but it's not bad or nothing. I'm not trying to knock it, but Mentor is generally a nice middle class neighborhood with good schools, and the houses tend to be more than I could really afford. But the Headlands is much more affordable. A lot of these houses are converted cabins, or they were small first-time homeowners' homes. And one of the great things is there's tons of kids around here. It reminds me a lot of when I lived here with my folks as a kid in the 1970s, where you could just play in the street, you'd disappear. Your parents would just basically tell you, hey, be back when it gets dark. We'd be like in first grade, disappearing like that. Well, anyway, the neighborhood really hasn't lost any of that. And it's really kind of nice. The kids go ahead and, they ask to go up to the skate park, or they go out with their friends, and they can disappear, and it's pretty safe around here, so we like it. It's weird that I have to say something like that, because it seems like, well, of course, of course it's safe, but we live in the United States, you know how that works. So anyway, it's a nice casual little drive. You really can't park there with a car, not where I'm going. It's either you have to go ahead and walk. Like I said, it's about a mile from my house. Or take your bike. No real places to park on this side. If you go to the actual marina, the Mentor Lagoons Marina, which is owned by the city, you will find that there is parking there, but it's a lot further to walk once you do get there. So the back entrance is the way to be. Also, it's the best way for the locals to be able to access the place, while the marina is where the rest of people from Mentor would access it normally. So The house that we live in is about a quarter mile from the beach. And wow, I can see it coming up here. And I swear the temperature just dropped a good 10 degrees. It's crazy. So it's April 23rd, I believe. And temperature is about 73 at the house, but I'm telling you it is 60 at best right now with a strong wind. And as we come up on Lake Erie. Now, for those of you who don't live local and have never seen a Great Lake, one of the great things about them is it's like an ocean. You can't see the other side. In fact, I've been in the middle of the darn thing on a boat. You can't see either side from the middle. Off to the right over there, you can see Grand River Light. That's near Fairport Harbor. And off to the left, if you go about 20 miles, you're going to hit Cleveland. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll see a freighter. You never know. The ore freighters, I believe, have already started running. So there's a couple little private beaches that are up here, but they're really nothing special. So little beach clubs that people will join in. But that's not really what I'm talking about here. This land that's over here is part of a reserve that, if I'm understanding correctly, is actually preserved because of the salt mine, the Morton salt mine that's in Fairport, which is to the east a little bit here. I understand there's an emergency exit somewhere in these woods. I'm sure it's got an access road built to it somewhere. But anyway, this whole area was left undeveloped because of that ownership. So as a result, we get to benefit from it as we ride along. And this is a private little road up here. We're actually going to come up to the actual rear entrance to the lagoons. You have to do a little, investigating the first time we went ahead and found this. And as you can see, they are dead serious about the no parking. We once tried to actually park our cars here. I'm telling you, they come out like hawks. You don't want to pretend. They will tow you. This little road, this little trail I'm on goes for, I don't know, about maybe a little bit more than a mile, maybe two. No, it's more like 2 miles. And it'll come out at the marina. But in the meantime, we can access the beach. And one of the great things is it's Thursday. It's a beautiful, bright, sunshiny day. Like I said, about 73 ambient. But with the wind off of the cold water, we're looking at about 60 degrees. So that's why I got the hoodie on. And just as quick as it took me to have that little talk, we get to the beach. So the beach has several different places you can access it. There's like 3 main ways to actually access it. This is the easternmost entrance. Ends off the Marshroom Trail over here, which are primitive trails that go way back there. And I will tell you, if it's raining even the slightest bit, you don't want to be around. It is bad. They put these stairs in 10, 15 years ago, before it was a very crudely created like stone stairway that I will tell you was so dangerous, especially when it rained. I remember the first time we visited here with Lucas, he was like 6 years old. He decided to run down that stairs as fast as he could, and he face planted something fierce. Luckily, young kids have a way of surviving what would kill folk like myself. And he just got up with his ego bruised. But I'm telling you, oh, the look on his face, you could tell it smarted. It's almost a shame to talk over this, because God, if you could just hear it, you could smell it. Nice and fresh breeze. Hopefully the microphone's not picking up all the wind. During the summer, I'll go ahead and I'll fly the kite around here. You can get it real high. There's always a breeze at the beach. You can always get a kite going. It is about 4:30. Let me check. Couldn't, maybe not even 5 o'clock. It's actually about 5 o'clock to give you an idea. So sunset will be about 3 hours from now, maybe 2.5. Absolutely gorgeous sunsets around here. A lot of people will come down. One of the cool things is a couple years ago we had the solar eclipse, and all of our neighbors were down here. There was probably about 100 of us, and we all got to sit and watch the eclipse. It was summertime too, which was really great. So it's warm and you get to see something a once in a lifetime. First time I've ever seen a complete total eclipse. We had something like 3 minutes of totality. It was great. And experiencing it on the beach is just something incredible. Something you really don't get an opportunity to do very much. Probably never again in my life I'll have another chance to see something like that. So, I mean, as you look around, it's not what you think of when you think about Ohio, when you think of farmland, but most of the people live in the cities around here. So for me, I look at this and I think, wow, what a huge contrast to the cities that we live in. It's not like the town that I live in is some metropolis, but you know, it's pretty much commercial everywhere, and you almost have to, the only way you know you've moved from one town to the next is because of the sign tells you you're in a different place. But you get out here, even though there's 100,000 people within, I don't know, 2 miles of this point, you're like literally alone. There is one other family on this beach right now. Now, not gonna lie, during the height of summertime, on a weekend, the boats will all be out here. There's a couple marinas, and bringing your boat up on the water is a very common pastime around here, people fishing and things. And you might see 70 or 80 people. That would be considered a really busy time. But even then, you have an opportunity. Every person can go ahead and grab about 10, 15 yards of beach and call it their own. And yeah, there's some stones on it. And yeah, after a storm, sometimes something gets washed up on it. But if you're into beach glass hunting, I tell you, you can have a lot of fun here. I can't even count the number of times the wife and I have come here to go ahead and go look for beach glass. There was a time when we were into running when we would actually run the beach. I don't think I want to think about that. But anyway, so many fun times on the water here. Now that we're going to be moving soon, I keep thinking, I am going to miss this. Of all the things I could miss about living in Cleveland, this is it right here. You would think we were in the middle of nowhere. I can see one person. No, there's not a person up on the trail, but in the far distance over there to the left, right below the sun, you're going to see that is the pier that comes out of Mentor Lagoons Marina, which is a really cool marina in Mentor. It actually is built into the land, so it's very protected from the water. The only marina I'm aware of on Lake Erie that does that. They actually have a bunch of houses all live on right on the water there, so that they can access and have literally boat docks in their backyard, which is really kind of unusual for Ohio. You can't just pop a pier into the lake and figure it's going to last. The waves you see here are pretty, it's about what it normally would be on most days. Obviously, when you get a storm, you can get 10 footers and you can get riptides that are crazy. There is a reason why there's giant floating trees. But for the most part, pretty calm. It can go crazy really fast. It can go from bright and beautiful, just like you see, to a crazy storm just in about 45 minutes time. But if you're smart and you pay attention to the weather, you know it's coming. We'll also bring the dog down here. I can see a couple up here brought their dog too. You do have to watch out. You might find the occasional coyote out this way. We definitely have found a couple. There's beavers. If you're really lucky, you can see a bald eagle. You have to be pretty lucky, usually early in the morning. But there's at least 2 nesting pairs in this park, which is really kind of cool. Mentor has gone out of its way to really maintain this area and invest in getting rid of infestations of like plants that don't belong, that have taken over, like pampas grass, and they've restored the headlands area. So now there's just birds everywhere. You never really thought of Mentor as being like a birder's paradise, but I see things all the time I never would have imagined I'd see in Ohio. All kinds of egrets and white herons and gray herons, and all the snapping turtles everywhere. Not that they're fun to play with, but they tend to walk on the road. So anyway, one of my favorite spots.